London is one of the richest cities in the world. It has hundreds of thousands of millionaires, dozens of billionaires, some of the most expensive property on earth. But most people in the UK don't live in that London. And day to day, the country often feels like two different places. In London, salaries are higher, but so are costs. The median household income might be around 14% higher than the UK average, but once housing is included, that advantage almost disappears. For many people, moving to London doesn't improve life. It just changes the numbers. Higher pay goes straight into higher rent. Housing is the simplest example. London house prices are close to double the UK average. Rents follow the same pattern. So unless you are in the top end of earners, the city doesn't feel like opportunity. It feels like pressure. That's why many people don't move to London, even when the jobs are there. At the same time, outside London, pay is often lower, but costs are no longer low enough to make up for it. Rent has risen across the country. Food prices are similar everywhere. Energy bills don't fall much just because you live further north. So people outside the capital don't feel insulated. They feel squeezed from both sides. Lower wages and costs that keep rising anyway. This is where the gap shows up most clearly. Not in GDP charts, in ordinary life, in the kinds of choices people make. In some towns, full-time work still doesn't create security. People work, but saving is slow. Moving house is difficult. Local high streets feel thinner. Services disappear quietly, not with a headline, but with a closure notice. Public investment has also been uneven. London receives far more transport spending per person than many other regions. That translates into better connectivity, more jobs within reach, and more growth. In places with weaker rail and road links, fewer opportunities connect. Commutes become harder. Businesses grow more slowly. That becomes a loop. None of this is about blaming Londoners. It's about how concentrated the economy has become. London is a global city. Finance, law, media, tech, those sectors generate wealth, but they don't spread evenly. And they don't always create the same kind of stable work that older industries did. Manufacturing once supported entire regions. Not just direct jobs, but the supply chains around them. When those industries declined, many places lost their anchor. The jobs that replaced them were often lower paid, less secure, or simply fewer. The result is that the UK doesn't feel like one shared economy anymore. It feels like a centre and a periphery. A few places with constant demand and rising prices, and many places where people feel life has slowed down. This shows up in health outcomes, in life expectancy, in long-term illness, in the strain on local services. Not because people are worse, but because economic security shapes everything else. It also shows up in mobility. People don't move as much as you would expect. Not because they don't want to, because moving is expensive. And because the places with the best jobs often have the highest housing costs. So opportunity is geographically concentrated, but access is limited. For many people, this creates a strange situation. London is the centre of the national economy, but it doesn't feel reachable, not culturally, financially. Meanwhile, outside London, life can feel overlooked. Not in an emotional sense, in a practical one. Transport investment, job density, housing stock, local services. The basics that shape whether a place feels like it has a future. The UK still has wealth. It still has strong institutions. It still attracts people from around the world. But much of that prosperity is concentrated. And for many people, that concentration defines their daily reality. This is what a divided economy looks like. Not a collapse, not a revolution, just a country where the experience of normal life depends heavily on where you are. London and everywhere else.